Stated meeting of July 16, 2026. I am Majority Leader Sean Abreu, and I'd like to thank you for joining us. As a reminder, decorum must be respected at all times. If you would like to follow along, the agenda for today's meeting is posted on our website. On behalf of the body, I welcome the members of the public who have joined us today. During stated meetings, only members of the council may speak. Members of the public shall remain silent. If you wish to express your support of any remarks, you may make the silent approval gesture. Thank you.
Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Roll call.
Aldebol.
Present.
Ariola.
Present.
Aviles.
Quiet on the floor, please.
Banks.
Here.
Brewer.
Here.
Brooks Powers. Caban.
Present.
De La Rosa.
Here.
Dinowitz. Encarnacion.
Presente.
Epstein.
Here.
Farias.
Present.
Felder. Felice.
Here.
Gennaro. Gutierrez.
Presente.
Hanif.
Here.
Hankerson.
Here.
Hanks.
Present.
Hudson.
Present.
Joseph. Krishnan. Lee. Lewis.
Present.
Maloney.
Present.
Marte.
Present.
Mealy. Morano.
Here.
Narcisse.
Present.
Nurse. Osei.
Present.
Palladino. Wrestler.
Here.
Riley.
Present.
Salam.
Present.
Justin Sanchez.
Here.
Pierina Sanchez. Thank you. Santos Suoso.
Here.
Shulman.
Here.
Stevens.
I'm here.
Thank you. Thomas Henry.
Present.
Ung.
Present.
Vernikoff. Bless you. Williams.
Present.
Wilson.
Present.
One.
Present.
Wang.
Here.
Zhuang.
Here.
Carr.
Present.
Abreu.
Present.
Speaker Menon.
Here.
Thank you. We will now have today's invocation, which will be delivered by the Reverend Dr. Gamel de Lisbour. of New Jerusalem Worship Center, which is located at 122-05 Smith Street in Queens.
Let us pray. O Lord, how excellent is your name in all the earth. Father God, we just thank you for allowing us to be here one more time, Lord God, as we convene and we look to you, the author and finisher of our faith. Father God, bless every heart and mind that is here within this council meeting. Lead them and guide them according to your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Anoint them afresh, Lord, as they look to you, Lord God, as you begin to just show yourself mighty, show yourself strong in the midst. We thank you, we praise you, giving you all the honor, glory, and praise. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
That was very brief, huh? Thank you. I would now ask Councilmember Ty Hankerson to spread the invocation on the record.
We get things done. Thank you, Majority Leader. I would like to thank Reverend Gamel Delaspor for being here today, and I make a motion for unanimous consent to spread the invocation in full upon the record. Reverend Dr. Gamel A. Delaspor is a lifelong New Yorker from Hollis, Queens, shaped by the strong community and church roots of his upbringing. Raised by his mother, the late Grace Marie Branch Delaspor, organist at Cornerstone Baptist Church in Brooklyn, he learned early the value of service, faith, and community leadership. His spiritual journey deepened in 1990 when he came to faith in Christ at Long Island City Gospel Tabernacle under Bishop Moses Taylor. He pursued biblical training at the Long Island City Bible Institute, earning a certificate in evangelism in 1995, and later answered his call to ministry in 2004. Licensed in 2005 at New Missionary Baptist Church under Reverend Larry L. Shell, he served the youth of his community for 4 years, investing in the next generation. Reverend Delaspor continued his development through New York Theological Seminary and later through advanced academic study, earning degrees from Alliance Theological Seminary, Regent University, and Newburgh Theological Seminary. At the New Jerusalem Worship Center, he has served in numerous roles that strengthen both the congregation and the surrounding community, including spiritual development coordinator, evangelism ministry, brotherhood ministry, transportation ministry, and personal safety and security for Bishop and Lady Rice. His leadership is grounded in accessibility, compassion, and a commitment to community well-being. Beyond the church, he serves as a community health worker in the IN, also known as In Touch Institute, and as an educator with the New York City Department of Education at the New Heights Charter School of Harlem, continuing his lifelong commitment to empowering individuals and families. Reverend Dr. Gamel A. Delaspor and his wife of 34 years, Crystal Denise Jones Delaspor, are proud parents and grandparents, deeply rooted in faith, family, and community, and we thank him for being here today.
Thank you. Adoption of minutes.
None.
Messages and papers from the mayor.
None.
Communication from city, county, and borough offices.
M84, OMB report.
Referred to Finance.
Petitions and communications.
None.
Land use call-ups.
M's 85 and 86.
Thank you. I'd ask the clerk take a roll call vote on today's land use call-ups.
Aldebol.
I vote aye.
Arriola.
I vote aye.
Thank you. Aviles. Banks. Aye. Brewer.
Yes.
Brooks Powers.
Aye.
Caban.
Aye.
De La Rosa.
Aye.
Dinowitz.
Aye.
Encarnacion.
Aye.
Epstein. Farias.
I vote aye.
Felder. Feliz.
Aye.
Gennaro. Gutierrez.
Aye.
Hanif.
Aye.
Hankerson.
Aye.
Hanks.
Aye.
Hudson.
Aye.
Joseph.
Aye.
Krishnan.
Aye.
Thank you. Lee.
Aye.
Thank you. Lewis.
Aye.
Maloney. Marte.
Aye.
Mealy. Morano.
Aye.
Narcisse.
Aye.
Nurse.
I vote aye.
Osei.
I vote aye.
Palladino. Wrestler.
Aye.
Riley.
Aye.
Salam.
I vote aye.
Justin Sanchez.
Aye.
Padina Sanchez.
Here.
Land use call-ups. Councilmember Sanchez. Land use call-ups.
Oh, sorry. I am here and aye.
Thank you. Santos Suoso.
Aye.
Thank you. Schulman.
Aye.
Stevens.
Permission to vote aye. I move on to the agenda.
Councilmember, permission denied because there has been no one who's been granted permission to leave early because we have a quorum issue today.
Aye.
Thank you, Councilmember. Land use call-ups. Thank you. Thomas Henry.
Aye.
Maloney.
Aye.
Thank you. Ung.
Aye.
Vernikov. Williams.
I vote aye.
Wilson.
Aye.
One.
Aye.
Wang.
I vote aye.
Zhuang.
Aye.
Thank you. Carr.
Aye.
Abreu.
Aye.
Thank you. Speaker Menon.
Aye.
Today's land use call-ups are adopted by a vote of 46 in the affirmative and 0 in the negative. Thank you. We will now have communication from Speaker Julie Menon.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone, on this very hot and hazy day. So this has been a very busy week, to put it mildly, for the City Council. Yesterday, we held a hearing on Romansh's Law, named after Romansh Mahajan, who tragically died after he was thrown from a horse-drawn carriage in Central Park last month. We heard very compelling testimony from his family, from animal welfare advocates, from TWU, from drivers, medallion owners. And I really, first of all, want to thank Councilmember Schulman for chairing that marathon. I think it was 10 hours it clocked in at the end, 10-hour hearing, and all the council members who turned out. And I look forward to hearing thoughts from additional council members as we go through this process and as we consider any amendments and additional language to the bill. And thank you to Councilmember Marte as well. Okay, so moving along, for those residents who are small business owners, we've kept up our efforts to make life easier for them. Today, we're introducing a bill that I sponsored
Quiet on the floor, please.
that aims to topple the barriers that prevent small businesses from succeeding. This bill would establish a quadrennial commission whose recommendations would ease permitting and licensing and inspections, as well as reduce fines and fees. We know that about 5,000 small businesses closed last year, so this is an urgent crisis. In that vein, we're voting on legislation sponsored by Councilmember Zhuang, which would help cut through the maze of bureaucratic red tape that aspiring business owners are forced to navigate. As a former small business owner myself, I really understand that. We talked to so many small business owners and heard from them, some of whom said it's taking them sometimes several years to be able to open their small business. So that's not acceptable, and now the council is taking action to address that. On Tuesday, we announced that the council secured $1.5 million in the budget for 60,000 free swim lessons for an additional 3,000 second graders. This was so exciting, and I was proud to be at Lehman College in the Bronx with a number of colleagues where we announced this. And I think this is so incredibly important. It builds on the work we did from last council. I had a bill that mandated free swim lessons to every single second grader, but in the last administration that wasn't fully implemented. So now we're adding additional funding to do that. And this builds on some work that I had done with Councilmember Krishnan and the Gray Foundation and Asphalt Green, where we launched a pilot program about a year ago, which has already provided free swim lessons to 6,000 public school second graders. Earlier this morning, I was thrilled to gather in the Rotunda with many of you, where we advocated for our paraprofessionals and for the Respect Act. I'm proud to be wearing this pin on this today for our amazing, amazing paras. I first of all want to thank Councilmember Carmen De La Rosa. She and I have been on a 2-year journey along with the UFT on this important work. And I just want to say a word about this. Our city's paraprofessional starting salary is $32,000, $32,500 to be specific. We know our paras are helping our most special resource, our children, and really our most vulnerable children, those with special needs. We have 1,600 vacancies at DOE of paraprofessionals. We are spending $1.5 billion a year on Carter cases, largely because in so many classrooms there is no paraprofessional. So many of our paraprofessionals, and we've heard this literally at every single rally. I think we did 4 rallies, Councilmember De La Rosa, you and I, on this issue. And at every rally, we hear from paraprofessionals who literally say some of them are living in the shelter system, some cannot afford groceries. This is unconscionable. And so today, our fervent hope is that we will finally pass legislation to address it. I want to be clear. Obviously, we believe this should be done via collective bargaining or through the budget, but that was not happening. And so we, the council, had to act. And so I think this is just incredibly, incredibly important that we finally, once and for all, give paraprofessionals the pay they so rightly deserve. On a sweeter note, there are a few things to look forward to. I want to first of all wish a very happy early birthday to Councilmember Justin Sanchez. His birthday is July 17th. Tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow. A happy early birthday to Deputy Whip Elsie Encarnacion. Her birthday is on the 19th, so in a couple days. To Council Members Rita Joseph and Tiffany Caban, whose birthday is on July 24th. So happy, happy birthday. This Sunday, I think we're all going to be excitedly watching as Spain and Argentina face off in the World Cup Finals right across the river at MetLife Stadium. Over the past few weeks, we've been proud to continue the long practice of welcoming visitors from all across the world to our great city, seeing their colorful jerseys, hearing the mix of languages all across the 5 boroughs. So that has been just so incredibly exciting to see. July 24th is National Disabilities Day, marking the 36th anniversary of the American with Disabilities Act. We remember the decades of activism it took for Congress to pass this landmark legislation, including when nearly 60 activists ditched their mobility aids, dragged their bodies up the Capitol steps, and demanded their rights. Thanks to their hard work, the quarter of Americans who are disabled are guaranteed the exact same rights to work, for transit, and for access to space as everyone else. And as a council, we must continue their effort to make our nation more equal for all. We have a few special guests in our chambers that I'd like to give a very warm welcome to. First, the Consul General of Lithuania, as well as the Lithuanian Alliance members and associates. Welcome. Welcome. So we know New York and Lithuania have shared a long history together, which goes back to when our city was the entry point for thousands of Lithuanian immigrants. So we really welcome you here today. And another welcome, we have the interns from Senator Chuck Schumer's office. So we want to welcome you here to the chambers. Welcome. And then lastly, students from the Bronx Scholars Institute at Hustos College, we welcome you as well. Okay, we have a busy stated agenda. First, we're going to vote on a number of land use items. Today, this council is taking essential action to address our city's housing affordability crisis by approving land use applications that together are going to facilitate a total of 3,242 units of new housing. Through a combination of HPD subsidy and mandatory inclusionary housing, over half of this housing will be affordable. That's nearly 1,700 units. I really want to thank our land use chair, Councilmember Kevin Riley, for shepherding these projects through and for your leadership. These applications span across all 5 boroughs, and the council's negotiations prioritize adding and deepening affordable housing, especially at Monitor Point, where the project we are voting on today represents an increase of over 200 affordable units from what was presented just weeks ago. This council will continue to proactively work to deliver new homes as well as community benefits for New Yorkers as we move forward this term. Monitor Point, and I was really happy to partner with Councilmember Ressler on this very, very important project, an application to facilitate the development of 2 new mixed-use buildings with approximately 1,324 residential units to be exact, 50% of which will be affordable, as well as a new museum honoring the legacy of the USS Monitor, as well as publicly accessible open space in Councilmember Ressler's district. The applicant team is committed to contributing $300,000 annually to the long-term maintenance of Bushwick Inlet Park and facilitating the relocation of 2 MTA facilities. DeWitt Clinton Park North, 2 related applications in Councilmember Gail Brewer's district to facilitate the redevelopment of 2 auto dealerships into mixed-use towers with a combined 1,064 units, 286 of which will be affordable under MIH. As part of the applications, the developers will also be purchasing air rights from Hudson River Park, helping to generate important and critical funding for waterfront open space. Then next is 2950 West 24th Street rezoning. This would facilitate the development of an 18-story mixed-use building with 408 units, all of which will be income restricted pursuant to HPD's ELA program, as well as 2 superintendent units, commercial community facility space in Councilmember Kayla Santosuoso's district. 1166 Bedford Avenue rezoning will facilitate the development of a 12-story mixed-use building with approximately 144 affordable independent residences for seniors, as well as ground floor retail and community facility space in Councilmember Chi Osei's district. 198-208 Richmond Terrace will facilitate the development of a 14-story mixed-use building with 118 residential units, 35 of which will be permanently affordable under MIH, as well as community facility space and off-street accessory parking in Majority Whip Camilla Hanks district. 1160 Pugsley Avenue rezoning will facilitate the development of a new 8-story mixed-use building with approximately 104 residential units and ground floor supermarket space in Councilmember Amanda Farias's district. And then lastly, 164th Street rezoning will facilitate the development of a new 6-story mixed-use building with 80 residential units, 24 of which will be affordable under MIH and community facility space in Councilmember Jim Gennaro's district. Next, Landmarks Preservation Commission designation of 3 individual landmarks linked to New York City's immigration history. First, the Public School 15 Annex, located in Councilmember Lincoln Ressler's district, originally built in 1889 to serve Brooklyn's growing immigrant community. Second, the Church of St. Mary in Councilmember Chris Marte's district, which is the 3rd oldest Roman Catholic church in all of New York City. And then finally, the Lithuanian Alliance building in Councilmember Carl Wilson's district, which has served as a home for the Lithuanian Alliance of America since 1910. We are also approving a school siting in Majority Whip Camilla Hanks district for a new, approximately 801-seat high school at 25 Wall Street. And then finally, 2 applications by HPD to facilitate the preservation of existing affordable housing. First is 511 West 171st Street, a NCP cluster, to facilitate the rehabilitation of 3 city-owned buildings with 50 units under the Affordable Neighborhood Cooperative Program in Councilmember Carmen De La Rosa's district. And then next, to East Harlem, El Barrio, Article 11 amendment to a project previously approved by the council in 2019 to allow commercial spaces to be occupied by community facility uses in Deputy Whip Elsie Encarnacion and Councilmember Yusef Salam's districts. We will also be voting on the following finance items: a transparency resolution approving new designations and changes of certain organizations receiving funding in the expense budget. Pre-considered introduction sponsored by Councilmember Linda Lee would decrease the credit against the city personal income tax on residents for their share of city unincorporated business tax, also known as a UBT, paid by partnerships in which such residents are partners or businesses of which they are proprietors. Today, we are also going to vote on the following pieces of legislation. Resolution 371, sponsored by Councilmember Yusef Salam, would declare August 6th annually as Fat Man Scoop Recognition Day in the city of New York. Thank you to Alejandro Caraval and Regina Paul. Introduction 398, sponsored by Councilmember Lincoln Ressler, would amend the annual disclosure law to affect the bans a New York City officer, employee, candidate for office, or political party official selects when disclosing anything with a monetary value or amount. Thank you to Jahari Frazier and Erica Cohen. Introduction 913A, sponsored by Councilmember Amanda Farias, would raise the maximum age at which someone can take the civil service exam to become a police officer from 35 years of age to 43 years of age. This legislation would align local eligibility standards with those established pursuant to state law. Thank you to Rachel Codrero, David Seitzer, Josh Kingsley, and Chad Benjamin. Introduction 812A, sponsored by Deputy Whip Elsie Encarnacion, would require the Commissioner of the Department for the Aging to develop a protocol in collaboration with New York City Emergency Management and relevant agencies to conduct wellness checks during cold weather alerts, extreme heat warnings like we have now, and heat-related emergencies. Thank you to Hannah Cohn and Joshua Newman. Introduction 496A, sponsored by Deputy Speaker Dr. Natasha Williams, would require the Commissioner of Cultural Affairs to conduct a study and provide a report to the mayor as well as the council on the potential installation of structures acknowledging the giraffe riots of 1863. Thank you to Tristan Monteith and Alejandro Caraval. Pre-considered Introduction A, also sponsored by Dr. Natasha Williams, would increase the salaries of the mayor, public advocate, controller, council member, borough presidents, and district attorneys by 18.2% since the last time their salaries were adjusted by local law, as recommended by the recently released report of the New York City Quadrennial Advisory Commission for the Review of Compensation Levels of Elected Officials. It would change the timing of future commissions to the 3rd year of a term of office rather than the 1st year, and provide each commission with 120 days to complete their work. Thank you to Jahari Frazier and Erica Cohen. Introduction 955-A, also known as the Red Tape Relief Act, sponsored by Councilmember Susan Zhuang, would require the mayor to establish a program that would coordinate inspections and plan reviews among agencies to cut down on the time for new businesses to open. Thank you to David Seitzer, Tyler Walls, and Rebecca Barilla. And finally, Introduction 692-A, sponsored by Councilmember Carmen De La Rosa, would require the Department of Education to provide a workforce stabilization payment totaling up to $10,000 to each eligible school paraprofessional for work performed during the 2026-2027 school year. Such workforce stabilization payment would be paid to eligible school paraprofessionals in 4 separate installments. Thank you to Ree Ogasawara, Elliot Lynn, and Samita Deshmukh. So thank you for your attention to that. I'll turn it back over to our Majority Leader.
Councilmember Brewer. Be the first on the
Thank you. I just want to talk about the 629 West 54th Street and 801 11th Avenue, which we'll be voting on today. 10,054 units, 287 or a little bit more are there affordable. There are some that are very affordable as part of MIH, and then we negotiate another 12 to 14 at a higher AMI. It's still challenging. We wanted some workforce housing. We got just a little bit. These developers are contributing $200,000 to a nearby park, but I have to be honest with you, the park needs $12 million, to be honest with you. It's a little bit lower in terms of height, these buildings, but we're worried about the shadow on the park. Luckily, there are car dealerships with good paying jobs, union jobs that will be in the buildings. The most interesting part, as the speaker mentioned, is that $29.7 million at least will be given to the Hudson River Park Trust. It'll hopefully not only does increase the FAR, obviously, of the buildings, that's the purpose of it, but it will also help the trust pay for pilings under Pier 76, which was the tow pound for Manhattan. I just want to say that because of the length of time allowed to construct up to 10 years as part of this permit, I want to make sure that the Hudson River Park Trust enters into an agreement with the developers. They want to make sure it's binding to this particular development, because even if alternative becomes available later, we want to make sure that the money goes to the trust, and the promise is the promise. I want to thank Board 4, particularly Joe Resticcia and Paul Devlin, and the Land Use Division of the City Council. I just want to say the developers also say they're not going to build if they get no amendments to 485X. I don't know where that's going to go, but they are obviously very concerned about it. I have to say, when you're on private land and you're in Manhattan, I wish the city would give us more, either some vouchers or some other ways of having more units be affordable. And they should be at 30% of the entire square footage, not 25 or 30% of the number of units. Manhattan has transportation, we have good schools, and darn it, we should be able to get more affordable housing. I appreciate that they go to other boroughs because they all say it costs less on terms of the purchase, but I thank everybody involved and just wish we could do more affordable. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Ressler, followed by Santos-Suoso.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I am pleased to express my support today for the proposed development at 40 Quay Street in Greenpoint, also known as Monitor Point. Since this project was first proposed about 5 years ago, I have been clear that any development on publicly owned land must be primarily in the public interest. And I'm grateful for the thousands, I mean that literally, thousands of neighbors who've reached out to me and to my team to share their perspective over the course of this process. In direct response to our feedback, the developer has nearly tripled the amount of affordable housing, permanently affordable housing, that will be built on this site, from originally about 247 units to now 662 affordable units, 50% of the total development. And I think many of us and my community members for sure are jaded when we hear the term affordable housing. Is it actually affordable? And in this case, I can say yes. A majority of the housing is deeply affordable. I'm talking about $76,300, a family of three making $76,300 per year will be able to rent a two-bedroom at $1,822. We are building 161 housing units that are affordable for seniors. That means a senior making $35,000 a year will be paying $900 a month. And 30% of the affordable units, 110 in total, will be supportive housing. Those are for people exiting our shelter system. I push for even more, but I'm grateful that we were able to secure so many supportive units. This development will also yield significant green space benefits for our community. The developer will be adding over 50,000 square feet of green space. The developer will be contributing $300,000 per year for 99 years toward the maintenance of Bushwick Inlet Park, the adjacent park space. There will be 2 new public bathrooms that are accessible to park users and to neighbors. And the MTA is relocating a facility from the northern tip of Greenpoint, where we will be now able to fully build out Box Street Park, one of the other promised parks from the Williamsburg Greenpoint rezoning 20 years ago, when we break ground later this summer. We're getting a new, I know I'm done. We're getting a new ADA accessible
10 seconds.
G-Train with an elevator at the G-Train. Thank you to Speaker Menon for being a tremendous partner, Kevin Riley, our land use chair, the land use team, the
Thank you,
MTA, the
Councilmember.
Gotham, and others. I appreciate you all. And Clement Oyster. Thank you.
I now have Councilmember Santos-Suoso online.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today, we are voting to approve new development at 2950 West 24th Street. This development will bring 400 units that will be permanently and deeply affordable, as well as shared green space for tenants and ground floor commercial space, all of which is desperately needed in Coney Island. This building will be located on a lot already owned by the developer and where there is already a deeply affordable building on the site that is totally full. So clearly a reflection that this building is needed. We have had productive conversations with the developer to ensure that these new units are of the quality that residents deserve, and that both tenants of the existing building and the new tenants see that any required repairs and maintenance be done quickly. I strongly believe that affordable housing is important, but affordable doesn't mean that it can't be quality housing. And accordingly, the developer has promised our office to ensure that these buildings are clean and dignified places to live. And I will be working with him and with tenants to ensure that this promise is upheld. This spot is a prime example of how we can retrofit space to expand our affordable housing stock and do so in a way that expands amenities for current residents. 408 units means thousands of individuals and families can find stability of permanently affordable homes. And the proposal before us demonstrates our commitment to address the ongoing housing crisis with bold, smart development. And I am proud to vote yes and encourage my colleagues to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, council members. As a reminder that we have transparency resolutions today, so remember to make your disclosure before you vote. Report of special committees.
None.
Reports of standing committees.
Report of the Committee on Aging, Intro 812A, Wellness Checks.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Civil Service and Labor, Intro 692A, School Paraprofessionals.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Cultural Affairs, Libraries, and International Relations, Intro 496A, Art Installations.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Finance, Preconsidered Intro 972, Unincorporated Business Taxes.
Coupled on general orders.
Preconsidered Reso 551, Organization Funding.
Coupled.
Report of the Committee on Governmental Operations, State and Federal Legislation, Intro 398, Annual Disclosure Law.
Coupled on general orders with a message of necessity.
Preconsidered Intro 983A, Public Official Compensation.
Amended and coupled.
Report of the Committee on Land Use, LU 91 and Reso 562 through LU 93 and Reso 564, Landmark Designations.
Coupled on general orders.
LU 94 and Reso 565 and LU 95 and Reso 566, Zoning Amendments.
Coupled.
LUs 96, 97, 104, and 105.
Approved with modifications and referred to the City Planning Commission pursuant to Section 197-D of the New York City Charter.
LU 98 and Reso 567 through LU 101 and Reso 570, Zoning Amendments.
Coupled on general orders.
LU 102 and Reso 571 and LU 103 and Reso 572, Special Permits.
Coupled.
LU 106 and Reso 573 through LU 109 and Reso 576, Zoning Amendments.
Coupled on general orders.
Preconsidered LU 110 and Reso 577 and preconsidered LU 111 and Reso 578, 511 West 171st Street.
Coupled on general orders.
Preconsidered LU 112 and Reso 579, Tax Exemption.
Coupled.
Preconsidered LU 113 and Reso 580, New High School.
Coupled.
Report of the Committee on Public Safety, Intro 913A, NYPD Civil Service Exam.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Small Business, Intro 955A, Business Inspections.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
On the general orders calendar, LU 67 and Reso 581 through LU 71 and Reso 584, Monitor Point.
Coupled on general orders.
LU 72 and Reso 585 through LU 77 and Reso 590, DeWitt Clinton Park North.
Coupled on general orders, I would now ask that the clerk take a roll call vote on all of the items coupled on today's general orders calendar.
Al Dibble.
I want to disclose that my brother-in-law works for the Department for the Aging, and I'd like permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
Thank you. As the chair of the Committee on Civil Service and Labor, I am excited to vote yes for 692A. Paraprofessionals are vital to public education. Councilmember De La Rosa's bill takes a significant first step towards fixing the persistent paraprofessional staffing crisis that has been impacting New York City's schools. Paraprofessionals are critical members of our school environment, providing instructional, behavioral, and physical support to students with disabilities. This is an important first step towards recognizing the true value of our city's paraprofessionals, providing them with some reprieve and incentivizing recruitment and retention. Just want to be very clear, I have a deep respect for the collective bargaining process. This bill's non-pensionable workforce stabilization payment structure does not interfere, in my view, with mandatory subjects of collective bargaining, as it does not attempt to legislate wages or benefits and matters that must be resolved at the bargaining table. Congratulations to my colleague, Councilmember Carmen de la Rosa, for her leadership on this bill and for her dedication to our city's paraprofessionals and the students and families who depend on them. And thank you, Speaker Menon, for moving this bill to a vote on the floor today. I vote yes on all.
Ariola.
Vote aye on all with the exception of Intro 972 and Intro 983A. I also echo the sentiments of Councilmember Aldebol, and I'd like to see the same collectiveness for our EMS workers. And I should have done this first, Majority Leader, I'm sorry, but I disclosed that my son works for the DSNY. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Aviles.
I'd like to disclose for the record that my daughter is a student at New York City Public Schools. I vote aye on all.
Thank you. Banks.
Permission to explain my vote. And
Permission
I would
granted.
like to disclose first that I have a brother that works for the New York City Parks Department and also a brother that works for Department of Juvenile Justice. First of all, thank you, Majority Leader. And first, I want to again thank the Speaker and my good colleague, Councilmember Carmen de la Rosa, for ushering this particular bill, the Paraprofessional Workforce Stabilization Bill. For this particular bill is extremely important. As a council member from the 42nd Council District, I've had the opportunity to sit down with paraprofessionals from schools throughout my community, and I've heard about the long hours, the dedication they bring to the classrooms, and the sacrifices they make to support our students while working to support their own families. These are hardworking New Yorkers paying rent or mortgage and buying groceries, paying for childcare, doing everyday things that help build this city and make it bigger, brighter, and better. Everyday New Yorkers that walk into our schools ready to support our children who need a little extra patience and encouragement and care. They celebrate our students' successes, help them overcome challenges, and often become some of the most trusted adults in their lives. That's why this bill matters. It sends a clear message that the city values the work of our paraprofessionals who do the big, amazing jobs every day. When we invest in our paraprofessionals, we're investing in our students and our schools and our communities. And let me be clear, this legislation does not replace or weaken the collective bargaining process. It's not a substitute for the work that happens at the bargaining table. This is a one-time payment that recognizes the extraordinary commitment of our paraprofessionals while those broader conversations continue. We have a responsibility to look out for the people who look out for our children, and today we have the opportunity to do just that. I'm proud to support Intro 692, and I hope to see it will cross the finish line today because our paraprofessionals have earned more than our gratitude. Let's continue as we do today to put some respect on that check. Thank you.
Councilman Banks.
Your vote, council member?
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
Loud and clear.
Councilmember Aviles.
Yes, I forgot to mention, to disclose on the record that my sister works for the Parks Department. Thank you.
Thank you. Brewer.
I vote aye, Teacher CUNY, and I do want to thank the commission that looked at the pay salaries, particularly Carl Weisbrad, Dr. Lillian Paoli Barrios, and Dr. Larry and Angelo. They really are the best of New York in terms of their knowledge and city experience, and I want to thank them. I said I work and vote and hang out at CUNY. I was
Thank
very
you,
clear.
Councilmember Brewer. Oh, I got it. Thank you very much. Brooks Powers.
Permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
I just want to echo the sentiments of my colleagues in terms of my deep pleasure in being able to cast a vote for Intro 692A. As a proud auntie of an autistic miracle child who depends each day on paraprofessionals, I've been able to see firsthand just how critical they are to the nurturing and development of our most valued gems in our life, and that's our children. And so while, as it's been said, this is the first step, I'm so thankful that we are serving in a body that are putting people first in terms of attacking the affordability issue and making sure people have wages or funding to be able to have a better quality of life. And so I commend the bill's sponsor, Councilmember De La Rosa, the chair for labor, as well as the speaker for moving this forward. And with that, I vote aye on all. Thank you.
Caban.
I vote aye on all with the exception of Intro 913, on which I vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. De La Rosa.
A moment to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
Thank you. One moment on 511 West 171st Street. I just want to say I strongly support this application. It will create cooperative home ownership for existing tenants of a building that have been working really hard to make sure that they can uplift this building and own their apartments. They'll be able to buy their apartments for $250. So that is building generational wealth. And the vacant apartments will sell at 80% AMI. And so that is what it means to truly keep communities together and to be able to build generational wealth and equity in communities. In terms of 692A, I want to thank Speaker Menon for her leadership and her vision and for staying true in this process. I want to thank the UFT for their strong support, the paras who have led this work. Obviously, Chair Aldebal for her leadership, Chair Dinowitz for his leadership, and everyone else who was a part of making sure we could get here today. Shout out to Assemblymember Keith Powers, who was the original OG introducer of this bill. I want to talk about the numbers real quick. $32,000 a year is insufficient. After 15 years, they make $54,000 a year in the most expensive city in the country. $1.5 billion on Carter cases. This bill will provide $10,000 and a one-time stabilization payment so that we can retain this workforce. 25,000 paraprofessionals in New York City helping the most vulnerable children. And right now, there's from 1,600 to 3,000 vacancies in this workforce. And finally, to the 47 council members who have signed on to this bill, thank you for your support. We have the Manhattan, the Bronx, the Queensborough presidents. It's not too late for Staten Island. Come on over, as well as the other 4 council members. We have solid support for this legislation because we recognize that this is an equity issue. Workers in our city must not be facing eviction and having to pick up food at a food pantry when they're helping our most vulnerable New Yorkers. So thank you all for the support.
Councilman, do you have also disclosures by any chance?
Say it again?
Do you have disclosures to make today?
No disclosures, and I vote aye on all.
Thank you. Dinowitz.
I'd like to disclose on the record that we're funding CUNY in the transparency resolution, and while I don't hang out too much at Hunter like Gail does, I am affiliated with that institution. Permission to explain my vote?
Permission granted.
Thank you, Mr. Majority Leader. I want to thank Councilmember De La Rosa, Speaker Menon, Chair Aldebal for moving the para legislation forward. Being in a classroom with students with disabilities, the people who care most oftentimes for the most vulnerable students are our paraprofessionals. The ones who are there day in and day out. The kids who have the most significant needs are the ones with paraprofessionals, and they do just such incredible work. And I would always say thank you, right? Because that's what we can do. But as a city council member, we don't just have to say thank you, we can demonstrate our gratitude. And today we demonstrate that gratitude through this legislation, through the respect check, through recognizing the dignity in their work, through recognizing their work and beginning to address the inequities in the pay that they receive. And as elected officials, we talk all the time about supporting our students. But we cannot support our students without supporting the people who do the work. We have to support the people who support our students in the classroom. Those are our paraprofessionals. So I am an emphatic yes on this legislation, on all pieces of legislation on today's agenda. And I once again want to thank Councilmember De La Rosa, Chair Aldebal, and of course Speaker Menon for really moving forward this really critical piece of legislation for our paras and for our students.
Thank you. Encarnacion.
I vote aye on all.
Epstein.
Permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I really also want to thank Councilman De La Rosa, our Speaker, Chair Audubon. You think about it, I went to public school, my kids went to public school, and in those classes, the paraprofessionals changed lives. I know for my kids who struggled with learning disabilities, the paras were critical to their education. And to say to New Yorkers that you can live on $32,000 a year is beyond belief. No one here, no one in this city thinks anyone who lives in any of our districts can survive in this great city of ours on $32,000. This is a small step in the direction to say to the paras and to the UFT that we see you, that we care about you. We want you to stay in this profession. The idea that we either have 1,600 or 3,000 vacancies because people can't afford to take these jobs just continues to mean that we're spending more money someplace else. This is a wise investment in our city, a wise investment in our paraprofessionals, and a wise investment in our future. I really want to applaud us all for taking this stance today. I want to applaud us all for taking the leadership, as of course, with Speaker Menon leading all the way, Carmen De La Rosa, and my Assembly member, Keith Powers, that we wouldn't be here today with them and the paras who stand up every day. I vote aye, and I want to also, just one last message around the salary increase. I think it's, we need to make sure that leaders in our city want these jobs, and the salaries that we get paid are below even nonprofit salaries. Like, I got paid when I was in a nonprofit leader, I got paid more than 10 years ago than I get paid today. And if we really want these people in our profession to make our city better, we need to do it by understanding that salaries mean something to people doing these jobs. I really applaud the commission and the work we did and what we're doing today on that vote. Thank you.
Farias.
I proudly vote aye on all.
Felder.
I vote aye on all, no on intro 972.
Thank you. Feliz.
Permission to extend my vote.
Permission granted.
Proud to vote aye on all. I'm especially proud to support Intro 913A by Councilmember Farias. 913A, which would raise the age limit for those who would like to take the civil service exam to become a police officer. Our police department plays an essential role on the issue of public safety, and we must ensure that they have the tools to be able to successfully carry out their important mission. Now, we've made progress on the issue of police headcount. We've made progress by removing barriers that get in the way of those who want to serve our city as a police officer. We've made progress, and there's still room to take the progress even further. This legislation will allow us to do exactly that by expanding the pool of candidates allowed to take the required exam. So I'm proud to vote aye on all, including 913A, and also congratulations, Carmen De La Rosa, on your bill as well. Thank you.
Gennaro.
I vote aye on all, and I ask unanimous consent to be able to vote on land use call-ups.
Any objections? Seeing none?
I vote aye.
Thank you. Gutierrez.
on all.
Hanif.
Aye on all.
Hankerson.
Permission to extend my vote?
Permission granted.
I just want to say very, very briefly to our paras, this is a proud moment, and congratulations to you all because the work that you do is vital to our school communities, and I'm going to just reiterate what I said in committee. As one of the only council members that's just a little over 10 years removed from high school, para, I think she got me beat just a little bit. I want to just shout out some of the paras that, you know, though I wasn't their student, they became like family to me. Miss Barnes, Miss V, Miss Cookie, and to my constituent, Miss Talia, who called me almost every day about this bill. This is what you deserve, and I can't wait for not just this, but for more things to come. I vote aye on all.
Hanks.
Permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
Thank you, Majority Leader. The North Shore of Staten Island is changing, and with that change, with it becomes a responsibility to make sure that we're approving projects that invest in the future of homes and the future of careers where families can thrive. And that is why I'm proud to be voting on two major projects that will be voted on today. The new Curtis High School expansion will, the new Curtis High School that will expand the school's state-of-the-art nursing program. This 800-seat expansion will open the doors for more students to pursue a strong non-AI career pathways in healthcare, one of our borough's largest employment sectors. And two, I am proud to be voting in support of 198-208 Richmond Terrace, which will bring 117 new apartments, included 30 permanently affordable workforce housing units to the transit-rich location in St. George. I also want to say that my mother started as a paraprofessional, and I am very proud to be supporting our paraprofessionals today and the folks that helped make that happen. So thank you to our speaker and the teams that made this happen, and that I vote aye on all. Thank you, Mr. Majority Leader.
Hudson.
Aye on all, and I'd like to disclose for the record that I'm associated with the Brooklyn Museum.
Thank you. Joseph.
Aye on all, and I'd like to, on the record, my son is a student in New York City Public Schools that we are funding, and my son works as a para. Thank you.
Krishnan. Lee.
I'd like to disclose
Krishnan,
that
thank you.
I'd like to disclose that my children are students at the Department of Education, and we are funding them in this stated meeting today. And with that, I vote aye on all.
Thank you. Councilmember Lee.
I'd also like to disclose that my kids are students in the public schools, which are funding, and I vote aye on all. Thank you.
Thank you. Lewis.
Permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
Thank you, Mr. Majority Leader. I want to take a moment to support Intro 692 today, which provides workforce stabilization payments for our school paraprofessionals. For far too long, paraprofessionals have been the backbone of our public schools without receiving the recognition or compensation that reflects the essential role they play every single day. They support students with disabilities, assist teachers in managing classrooms, provide individualized attention to children who need it the most. As we continue to face staffing shortages across our education system, retaining experienced paraprofessionals is critical. These workforce stabilization payments acknowledge the invaluable work paraprofessionals perform and represent an important step towards building a stronger and more equitable education system for our students and families. I want to thank the UFT for their advocacy, Speaker Menon and Councilmember De La Rosa for advancing this legislation. I vote aye on all, and I would like to disclose for the record that my brother works for the MTA. Thank you.
Thank you. De La Rosa.
Apologies. I'd like to disclose for the record that my daughter is a student in New York City Public Schools.
Thank you. Maloney.
Permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
Thank you, Majority Leader. First, I want to disclose for the record that my mother is a teacher at Hunter. I vote aye on all, and I'm especially proud to co-sponsor and vote yes on Intro 692, which recognizes the critical role that our school paraprofessionals play in supporting students across the city. The Para-Respect Check is an important step forward towards providing paraprofessionals with the dignity, compensation, and respect they deserve. I'm also excited to vote for Intro 955, which makes it easier and faster for New Yorkers to open a small business. I urge my colleagues to sign on to a similar bill, Intro 875, the Stop Clock Bill, which focuses on transparency and accountability on permit timelines. Lastly, I want to recognize several of our summer interns, Dylan Miglio, Jade Acker, and Nathan Zelizer, who are about to complete their time with our office. Jade, Nathan, and Dylan, thank you for all your help, your service to the city, and I wish you every success as you take your next steps.
Reminder, you can only speak on issues, on things that you're voting on. So if you
Apologies.
like to, no problem.
Thank you. Marte.
Permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
First, I want to give a huge thank you to Councilmember De La Rosa and Speaker Menon on the paraprofessional bills, and OG Councilmember Keith Powers, we still remember you, even though you're up there. I also want to give a huge thank you to my community for starting and organizing and petitioning to landmark St. Mary's Church on Grand Street. So I want to give a huge thank you to Norma Ramirez, Sandra Stothers, who's the TA president at Grand Street Guild, Ray Klein, who also helped with the petitioning, and of course Lower East Side Preservation Initiative, who did the landmarking application pro bono for the residents of the Lower East Side, as well as the Archdiocese for receiving this ask from the community and being supportive of the application. Thank you all. I vote aye.
Thank you. Mealy. Morano.
Permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
I wanted to speak a moment on Intro 692. I'll be voting yes enthusiastically on this legislation. I want to congratulate Councilmember Carmen De La Rosa for getting this bill across the finish line. I also want to recognize former Councilmember Keith Powers, whose leadership on this issue helped lay the groundwork for where we are today. I don't know that anybody told him he's a former council member, though, because I feel like I see him at City Hall just as much now as when he served in this body. He's kind of like the municipal equivalent of Bruce Willis in The Sixth Sense, but it's great to see him. Every day, our school paraprofessionals do some of the hardest and most important work in our education system. They help children with disabilities learn, communicate, and succeed. They support our teachers, strengthen classrooms, and make a real difference in the lives of New York families. Yet for far too long, they've been asked to do that work for far too little pay. I do have one regret in this bill, though. A wonderful paraprofessional from my district, Ellen Santarelli, devoted her career to serving our children. She retired yesterday, and because of the timing, she won't receive this benefit. That's unfortunate because people like Ellen are exactly the public servants struggling to afford to continue to live here that we should be rewarding. I also wish this $10,000 payment could be pensionable. Unfortunately, this legislation doesn't permit that. My hope is that making compensation like this pensionable becomes part of the next collective bargaining agreement so these hard-working employees receive not only immediate relief, but greater retirement security as well. Finally, I think it's disappointing that this administration has indicated its opposition to this and other similar legislation. Too often when it comes to giving working people the support they've earned, whether it's paraprofessionals, EMS workers, or others, we're told that collective bargaining means nothing can be done. Collective bargaining is obviously important, and it must be respected, but it shouldn't become an excuse for not helping working folks in our city. Thank you. With that, I'll vote aye on everything with the exception of Intro 972 and 983A, on which I vote no.
Thank you. Narcisse.
I want to disclose that my son worked for a nonprofit that being funded from us, and my hubby is a medical doctor at NYU. And permission to explain my vote?
Permission granted.
Thank you, Majority. I am proud to support the Intro 692. First, I have to say thank you to Carmen and, of course, Keith and our chair today, we were able to pass it through. And I want to say thank you to all the leadership that have been advocating for the paraprofessional, and congratulations to all of you. Amazing, you've been doing the work, and the city was supposed to be the leading city, and we were not being present for you. So today we're saying that we are with you, we are for you, we are supporting you. I'm proud to support it, the respect check for our paraprofessional. I have sat down with you in my office. I have seen firsthand that you do the work in the classroom. I used to be the mom in the classroom, and I have seen you guys, you work. You are working for the most vulnerable kids, and we are talking about our future. So now with our future, we are saying that the starting salary is just not sustainable in the city of New York. We asked them, the paraprofessional, to do some of most demanding work in our schools, and we have not let them, you know, never let them to know that we care for them in their paycheck. We let them go far further, deeper in the poverty, I would say. We make the mistake, but this bill is not just a substitute for the raise. They deserve it, and they had bargaining for it. So now let's continue to make sure they get what they deserve in New York City. With nearly 1,600 para vacancies citywide, we cannot afford to keep losing our paraprofessional. They are very special to us, and let's show it. Let's continue making sure that they get what they deserve in New York City. And on that note, I vote aye for all. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Nurse.
I vote aye. Congratulations, Councilmember De La Rosa.
Just want to remind everybody to just stay here so we can keep the numbers that we need in the room. Thank you.
Osei.
I vote aye. Congratulations, Councilmember De La Rosa.
Palladino. Wrestler.
Permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
Thank you so much, Majority Leader. I, like the Speaker mentioned, would have strongly preferred for us to be resolving compensation for paraprofessionals through the collective bargaining process. But it has become, unfortunately, apparent over many years that pattern bargaining is failing the lowest paid workers in city government. There are too many workers like paraprofessionals who earn $32,500 a year, where a 3% raise just doesn't mean much. If you're well compensated and you're making over $100,000 a year, a 3% raise is great. But the nature of pattern bargaining really expands upon, exacerbates the inequities that exist in compensation in New York City. And so we need OLR and the Mamdani administration to begin creating equity tables where each year they identify low-wage workers in city government that are underpaid and prioritize bringing those wages up. But until that happens, we can't afford not to act. And so I'm grateful for the leadership of our former labor chair, Councilmember Carmen De La Rosa, for ensuring that these paraprofessionals get the support that they deserve, and appreciate Speaker Menin's leadership and the council today, along with the UFT, in delivering for low-wage workers who deserve this and so much more. I'm grateful to every paraprofessional in New York City for their hard work in taking care of our kids, and I proudly vote aye on all.
Riley.
Just want to state for the record that my children are scholars at New York City Public School, and we are also members of the YMCA, and I vote aye on all.
Thank you. Salam.
Just want to say for the record that my family are members of the YMCA, and I'm proud to vote aye on all.
Justin Sanchez.
I'd like to disclose. I have nothing to disclose. Aye on all.
Thank you. Parina Sanchez.
Thank you. I'd like to disclose on the record that my sibling works at CUNY, and permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I want to say congratulations to Councilmember De La Rosa and the Speaker for your leadership on Intro 692. $32,000 is not enough. Our paras deserve more, and I want to agree with Councilmember Arreola that our EMTs absolutely do too. In my district, the way that the shortfall of our EMTs shows up is that NYPD patrol cars are taking people to hospitals every single day instead of EMTs. So I hear the uproar and I agree. And I also remind my colleagues that there are so many New York cities within our city. In my district, the median income is $25,000 a year for a worker. And so $32,000 is not enough for our paras. $25,000 a year is not enough for folks in my district. So let's please continue to fight our inequalities, expand opportunity, and tax the rich so we can fund the key initiatives that can get us there. Thank you.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Aye on all.
Thank you. Santos Soso.
Aye on all.
Thank you. Schulman.
Permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
Paraprofessionals are the backbone of our classrooms, supporting students with special needs, assisting teachers, and keeping our schools safe and inclusive. Yet for too long, their pay has not reflected the essential role they play. Intro 692A is about respect, equity, and justice, and correcting the wage disparities created by years of pattern bargaining that have left paraprofessionals behind. This bill recognizes the value of your work and sends a clear message. New York City cannot deliver quality education without investing in the people who make it possible. I want to congratulate Carmen De La Rosa and Speaker Menon. And by the way, this isn't the first piece of important legislation that has had new life in this session. I am a proud co-sponsor of this legislation. I was also the last go-round. And with that, I vote aye on all.
Stevens.
Permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
One, I would like to be associated with the remarks of Councilmember Sanchez, and also would like to uplift at the same time, addition to EMS and us having very low wages in our district, my average being at $36,000 a year. Also would like to highlight nonprofit workers. I mean, today, hearing everyone just speak about how it is a disgrace that paraprofessionals are being paid $32,000, I would love and hope that the same energy continues for nonprofit workers who work tirelessly in jobs that are honestly unthankless. And although I know Epstein said he was making more at a nonprofit, that is typically not the case, where most nonprofit workers' average income is about $40,000, who are doing all the work that we all glorify and uplift here. And so just want to continue to say shout out to Councilmember De La Rosa for getting us across the field, but also just making sure that we as a council continue to prioritize all workers who are struggling and at the bottom and who are making very low wages than all other New Yorkers. And so thinking about how do we continue to push forward legislation and supporting those who are in most need in all these communities. Thank you.
Apologies, Councilmember. Thank you, Councilmember Stevens. Thomas Henry.
I'd like to disclose that my daughter is a participant at Jamaica Center for Arts and Learning, and permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
I'd like to acknowledge a constituent, someone who has known me, probably since I was 3 years old, and has always been a close family friend and a community auntie, who is a para, and who actually introduced me to this bill as an advocate even before I was elected. So I want to say we're bringing it home. Thank you, Ms. Gina Lewis. Thank you to my colleague, Councilmember De La Rosa, for carrying this bill, and to Speaker Menon. And I vote aye on all.
Ung.
Aye on all.
Vernikov.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I move for unanimous consent to vote on all land use call-ups as well as couple general orders.
Seeing no objections.
Thank you. Aye on all, with the exception of Intro 972 and 983A, in which I vote no. Thank you.
Williams.
I am disclosing on the record that I am affiliated with CUNY, and I'd like permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
Thank you so much, Majority Leader. One of the greatest responsibilities we have as legislators is to build public trust. Sometimes that means creating transparent processes for the decisions government makes. Other times it means taking an honest look at the history that has shaped our city. Today, we're doing both. Legislation implementing the recommendations of the Quadrennial Advisory Commission that we thank reflects this council's commitment to a transparent, independent, and predictable process for reviewing elected officials' compensation. Government is strongest when New Yorkers understand not only the decisions we make, but the process behind them. We're also taking an important step toward acknowledging one of the darkest chapters in New York City's history. The draft riots of 1863 included horrific acts of racial violence against Black New Yorkers, yet there remains no formal public acknowledgement of those events in our city's landscape. I want to thank my constituent, Nia Clark, whose reporting on Cheryl Wills, New York One, helped bring renewed attention to the draft riots. I want to thank Speaker Julie Menon for her leadership, council staff, committee members, and chairs for their work on these measures, and all of my colleagues for their partnership. And very briefly, in my 53 seconds, as I was just sharing with the speaker, that I have a staffer, my special assistant, Kate, who started working for me. No, I can do this now.
It's during general discussion.
No,
Debbie.
this is not my interns. This is about the parabill.
My apologies. Y'all can all laugh at me now.
10 seconds back, Majority Leader.
Yeah, please give her her seconds
Thank
back. That's
you.
my
You're-
apologies. Sorry
You're
about
the
that.
best. Very quickly, Kate, my special assistant, started working for me. She's a constituent part-time. When I first got into the council, she eventually moved to full-time. She was a para, and one of the things that she mentioned was the salary, and I was able to give her a higher salary. And perhaps if her salary was higher, sadly, I might not have her in our office. I'm thankful, but I'm just really excited for this bill and for people like Kate. Thank you so much, Majority Leader. And congrats, Chair De La Rosa.
Thank you. Wilson.
Permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I'm proud that District 3 is a beacon for dreamers and strivers from around the nation and the world, to young actors aspiring to make it on Broadway, to queer people yearning for a chosen family, and to visitors taking in the neon lights of Times Square. And that's long been the case in District 3. Take the Lithuanian Alliance building in Chelsea, whose landmark designation I am proud to support today. From the late 19th through 20th centuries, after making it through Ellis Island, the first port of call for newly arrived Lithuanian Americans was 307 West 30th Street. There, they'd get a friendly welcome, assistance with housing and employment, and maybe a copy of the Tėvynė newspaper, printed on site. The Lithuanian Alliance building inspires us to extend a hand to newcomers with warmth, hospitality, and professionalism. It also represents the ever-important bonds of friendship, draugystė, between Lithuania and the United States. I'd like to acknowledge the Council General of Lithuania, as well as the staff members and board members of the Alliance building. And I'd like to thank my colleagues for joining me in supporting the landmark designation for the Lithuanian Alliance Center. Sveskime kartu. And I vote aye on all.
Thank you. One.
I just want to publicly disclose that my children are, my one child is part of a public school system, and I vote aye on all.
Wang.
Permission to explain my vote?
Permission granted.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Yeah, in my district, there's so many constituents that are living paycheck to paycheck and having problems making ends meet. And I just, with that in mind, and also I spend many months advocating for savings into the city budget of identifying savings. So I cannot consciously vote onto a bill to increase the salaries for myself. So I vote aye on all except for Intro 983A. And I also vote no on 972 on the tax credit decrease, which would actually increase city taxes. Thank you.
Zhuang.
For the record, my two kids go to public school, which we're funding in New York City, and also I want to have permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
First of all, I want to congratulate to Paras, and also congratulate to our small business owners, because today we are voting on a bill, Intro 955A, the Red Tape Relief Act. That's a big win for our small business owners because first of all, they are the backbone of New York City's economics. They create jobs, strengthen our neighborhood, and they represent the dream of hardworking families. But too many regulations, too many permits they have to get before they get their door open, even make a penny before they make any penny. So this bill, Intro 955A, will offers a particular solution. It requires city agency to coordinate inspections and plan review instead of making business owners navigate one agency after another. We know this approach works because New York City has done it before through new business acceleration team, which helped the business open faster by improving coordination cross-agency. Intro 955A also ensure accountability. This legislation requires public reporting so we can measure whether this program is actually reducing the delay and helping business success. And also I want to thank our speaker, and a lot of colleagues helped me to work on this bill and support this bill. And our job is make sure the government more efficient and also make our small business owners' life easier. So I want to thank everyone vote yes on this bill, and also I will vote yes on the bill. I vote aye on all except the Intro 983A, which is no.
Thank you, Councilmember. Carr.
Thank you. I'd like to second the comments of colleagues in support of our EMTs, and I vote aye on all with the exception of introductions 972 and 983A, on which I vote no.
Abreu.
Aye.
Speaker Menon.
I vote aye on all except pre-considered intro 983A, on which I abstain.
All items on today's general order calendar are adopted by a vote of 49 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and 0 abstentions, with the exception of Intro 972A, which was adopted by a vote of 43 in the affirmative, 6 in the negative, and 0 abstentions, and Intro 983A, which was adopted by a vote of 43 in the affirmative, 6 in the negative, and 0 abstentions, and Intro 913A, which was adopted by a vote of 48 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, and 0 abstentions. And the revised land use call-ups vote is 48 in the affirmative and 0 in the negative. Congratulations. Just give me 1 second. Intro 983A, adopted by a vote of 43 in the affirmative, 5 in the negative, and 1 abstention. Congrats again. Introduction and reading of bills.
All bills have been referred to committee as indicated on today's agenda.
Thank you. We'll now move into the discussion of resolutions. We have 2 folks signed up, Councilmember Salam, followed by Councilmember Lewis.
Thank you, Majority Leader Abreu. Colleagues, I want to take a moment before we vote on Resolution 371, because this one deserves more than just a procedural aye. First, I want to thank Council Members Farias, Lewis, Farias, I'm mixing it up, Farias, Lewis, Narcisse, and Wilson for supporting this resolution. And thank you to Deputy Speaker Williams for holding the vote in the committee. Fat Man Scoop, known as Isaac Freeman III, was born right here in Manhattan on August 6, 1968. Harlem raised him, Cardinal Hayes shaped him. And then he went out and gave this city and this world something they will never forget. That voice, that energy, That call and response that turned every room he walked into a celebration. For a decade, he held down midnight to 5 a.m. slots on Hot 97. He collaborated with some of the greatest artists of our generations. He won a Grammy, cross genres, cross continents, and everywhere he went, people felt it. But I want my colleagues to know something beyond the accolades. He was my friend. Oh, that was quick. Okay.
I'll give you an extra 15 seconds, Councilman.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm going to be consistent with everybody else today. As you notice, I'm giving everybody an extra 10 seconds.
When I was inaugurated, he came and pulled up. He didn't have to do that. Nobody asked him to do it. But that was Isaac. He showed up for the people he loved the same way that he showed up for every audience with everything he had, every single time. We lost him on August 30th of 2024 at 56 years of age, on stage doing exactly what he was born to do. This resolution asks that every August 6th, the city...
Councilmember, you have to wrap up.
Yes, sir. The city of New York pause and remember him, not just as an artist, a son of Harlem, as someone who made this city felt like home for everyone who heard his voice. Thank you, and I ask my colleagues to vote yes on Resolution 371. Thank you.
Councilmember Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. Majority Leader. I would like to thank Councilmember Salam for sponsoring Reso 371 and for giving us the opportunity to honor a man who meant so much to so many. For most people, Fat Man Scoop was the voice, the booming, raw, unmistakable energy that could fill any room, any club, any track he touched. He was the ultimate hip-hop hype man, and he did it with joy every single time. But for me, Fat Man Scoop was something more personal. He was my boss. I had the privilege of working for him at Hot 97, pulling his press clips every morning, breaking news stories, and making sure he had everything he needed to walk into that studio ready, and he was always ready. What I didn't expect was how much he would pour into me. He saw my ambition to be a journalist and to work in media. And he didn't just encourage me, he pushed me. He told me to keep fighting for where I needed to be. He showed me how to use the equipment. Wow, that was fast. With all that said, I'm proud to vote in support for this resolution designating August 6th as Fat Man Scoop Recognition Day in the city of New York. Thank you.
All right. Seeing no one else signed up to speak on resolutions, we will now have a voice vote on today's resos. If you wish to vote against or abstain from today's resolution, please notify the Legislative Documents Unit by email or by approaching the dais. I will now read today's resolution to the record. Resolution 371 declares August 6th annually as Fat Man Scoop Recognition Day in the city of New York and celebrates the signature style that he brought to every musical collaboration and the inimitable energy he brought to every audience. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any abstentions? The ayes have it. And I would also like to provide a revision of the vote of Intro 983A, which was adopted by a vote of 42 in the affirmative, 6 in the negative, and 1 abstention. We will now move into general discussion, beginning with Deputy Speaker Williams, followed by Lewis.
Thank you so much, Majority Leader. Following the rules, I just want to give a special shout out to my D27 summer interns, Avani, Ryan, Maribel, Eric, and Owen, who are joining us in the chamber today. Thank you so much for your hard work, your curiosity, and your commitment to public service. I am so grateful to have you with us this summer. Thank you.
Congrats, interns. Councilmember Lewis, followed by Wong.
Thank you. Today I'm introducing Intro 978, a bill that will increase the qualifying income limit for seniors and persons with disabilities for the senior citizen rent increase exemption and the disability screening. This bill is imperative to protect our most vulnerable populations from increasing housing costs and prevent displacement. New York City faces a severe housing crisis, which is exacerbated by rent increases that threaten housing stability for New Yorkers. Our seniors and neighbors with disabilities rely heavily on SCREE and DREE because many live on fixed incomes. These programs allow our older adults to afford their daily essentials without having to choose between buying groceries, purchasing medicine, and paying for rent.
As of June 2026, New York City experienced another unprecedented housing price increase, with the median monthly rent being $5,295 in Manhattan compared to $4,350 in Brooklyn. These escalating rent costs reflect a widening disparity of housing affordability across the city. We must protect our low-income residents from being priced out of neighborhoods they call home for decades. This bill addresses the eligibility challenges we face as New Yorkers, strengthening housing security for tenants, ultimately lowering tenant turnover for landlords and reducing eviction risk for tenants. Homelessness is already a widespread issue in New York City, and fewer affordable units will only increase shelter populations. A recent report showing 26,000 applications were received for just 84 affordable senior housing units in the city. It is important that we continue to protect our older adults and uniquely abled New Yorkers from experiencing traumatic displacement. I urge my colleagues to support Intro 978. Thank you.
Councilmember Wong, followed by Santos Suoso.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today I'm introducing Intro 984, a legislation to formally establish a permanent citywide NYPD street takeover unit. This bill was prompted by the dangerous April 18th takeover at 69th Street and Elliott Avenue in my district, where nearly 100 vehicles blocked the intersection, drivers performed stunts around a fire in the roadway between two gas stations, and individuals damaged a marked police vehicle. Similar incidents across the city have shown that too often the response comes too late and meaningful prevention is lacking. Patrol Borough Queens North has already taken an important step by deploying a team to address these incidents. Intro 984 would codify that approach into law, expand it citywide, establish a unit to monitor publicly available information about planned takeovers, and require the NYPD to report to the council so we can measure its effectiveness and ensure proper oversight. But a specialized unit alone is not enough. We also need more police officers assigned to our local precincts so they have the staffing necessary to prevent these incidents, respond quickly, and maintain public safety throughout our neighborhoods. I ask my colleagues to sign on to Intro 984 so we can advance a serious, permanent, and accountable solution to this growing public safety threat. Thank you.
Councilmember Thomas Henry, followed by Sanchez. Santos also will come back to when she's ready.
Thank you, Majority Leader. There's a saying we've all heard: if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. New Yorkers have always understood that this city comes with a price. We accept that. I mean, the New York mindset is often anchored on blind faith that success is just on the other side of grinding harder. But there's a thin line between paying a premium to live in New York and being priced out of New York. Every additional increase moves more families and more small businesses closer to that line. I believe good government meets people where they are, and right now, New Yorkers are telling us exactly where they are. They're making impossible choices between paying bills and putting food on the table. As chair of the Committee on Small Business, I hear this every single day. For a small business owner, utilities are the only way doors stay open. They aren't a luxury. They're the operating system of our communities. The refrigerator keeping food fresh, the salon chair staying occupied, the neighborhood laundromat running another load, the corner bodega keeping its shelves stocked. That's why I'm proud to introduce Resolution 561, calling on our utility companies and the Public Service Commission to freeze utility rates for New York City residents. Families are juggling housing, groceries, childcare, and transportation. Seniors living on fixed incomes have the least room for yet another increase. Our small businesses are navigating higher rents, rising insurance costs, and inflation. Utility bills shouldn't be the breaking point. An affordable city isn't built by asking people to absorb one more bill. Today, we're asking for something simple: a pause, a freeze, and a recognition that affordability must remain the center of every decision. Thank you to my colleagues who have already joined me in supporting this effort. I encourage the rest of the council to join us. And I would also like to acknowledge one of my SYEP interns who is in the chamber. Although he hails from the BX in Councilmember Riley's district, he has proven to be an invaluable member of our team. I also want to acknowledge my nephew who is visiting before starting his freshman year at UT Dallas. Thank you.
Councilmember Pirina Sanchez, followed by Santos Suoso, then Brewer.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I make these remarks on behalf of my community. In less than a year, serious allegations of sexual misconduct have emerged against 2 successive commanding officers in the NYPD's 46th precinct, including allegations that have now led to a criminal indictment. This represents an alarming pattern of alleged abuse of power, and I call on the mayor and the police commissioner to cooperate fully with all criminal and civil investigations, ensure a thorough and transparent internal disciplinary process, and act swiftly to restore stability, accountability, and trust within the 46th NYPD command. In the context of our challenges, our community is outraged and deeply saddened by these allegations. Even as crime continues to decline citywide, West Bronx residents continue to endure some of the highest levels of violence in our city, including just last night, a horrific homicide occurred outside of a lounge that I have previously brought to the NYPD 46th Precinct Commander and had flagged for City Hall. At such a critical moment, our community cannot afford a leadership vacuum or instability in this precinct. I commend NYPD Commissioner Tisch for her swift move to fire the officer accused of attempted rape of a junior officer, but I also want to use this moment and to call out that the public also needs to see swift action in the face of substantiated NYPD misconduct, especially in the cases of Black men and women killed by the NYPD. The hardworking people of our communities deserve more from the NYPD and from our city. We will continue to demand the highest standards of integrity and accountability in policing, alongside sustained investments in the foundations of true community safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Santos Suoso, followed by Brewer.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I just want to take a moment to acknowledge that on July 4th in Coney Island, there was a horrific shooting where a family was celebrating July 4th in a barbecue in a NYCHA courtyard. 8 people were shot, including 2 children as young as 6 and 7 years old. Gun violence is unfortunately becoming all too common in Coney Island, despite whatever the citywide stats may say. And so I'm grateful for the 60th precinct for apprehending the shooter. But this is a problem that we need to solve. And so I don't pretend to be an expert in this. I will be convening as many people as I can and experts on this issue to try to attack this and really solve it once and for all. And so this is a call to action for anybody who wants to see gun violence ended in our city, but also in Coney Island. Please get in touch with my office. We want to work to collectively end this problem. And my heart goes out to the family that's recovering at this time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Brewer, followed by Caban.
Thank you. I do want to thank Councilmember Lewis for the scree-dree, and it's going to make a huge difference for a lot of older adults. Thank you. Look forward to working with you. So I love interns. I want to thank those who are here today. I respect them, and it's a pleasure to work with you. Phoebe Adler, second year at Middlebury College. Evangelina Benasquez, McGill University. Zavia Brenner, who's a second year at Barnard College. Rebecca Chen, who's also second year at Barnard College, and she's a food influencer. Asha Gorodnik, sophomore at Trinity School. Mateo Gregorio, senior at Oberlin College. Isaac Ho, University of Buffalo. Julia Hornich, who is at Macaulay Honors College, third year. James Liu, who is a Vann Fellow and also will be getting a second or maybe third degree, the National Sheng-Chi University in Taiwan. Sienna Link Morris, who's third year at NYU Tisch. Adam Moss, who's a sophomore at Stuyvesant High School. Ella Williams at Horace Mann School, and Veronica Hunt, who's a junior at Trinity School. Thank you all. That's just a few of the interns we have in our office. I thank each and every one of you. Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Caban, followed by Morano.
Thank you. I want to echo the sentiments of Councilmember Sanchez. Great to see that the commissioner is willing to swiftly fire an officer who commits an act of abuse of power and violence against a coworker, and would like to see the same swiftness when there are substantiated claims of not just violence against Black and brown New Yorkers, but the killings, the murders of Black and brown New Yorkers who not only continue to stay on the force, but continue to get raises, to get promoted, to get their pensions. And I think it says a lot to say where the action is happening and where it isn't. With that, I want to shift gears and take a moment to just acknowledge a New Yorker who has just dedicated so much of himself, his time, his energy for a progressive vision, towards a progressive vision that delivers safety and justice and affordability for working people across our city. For the last few years, I, along with so many others, have had the privilege of working with the now outgoing Progressive Caucus Executive Director, Emmett Turan, day in and day out, and we're gonna miss your thoughtful, driven, and kind leadership as you leave this role, but really, really psyched that you're not going far because he's joining Councilmember Shahana Hanif's staff and team. So Emmett, thank you for all you've done for the Progressive Caucus. Can't wait to see what you do next with Councilmember Hanif.
Councilman Morano, followed by Riley.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today I'm introducing Resolution 555 that speaks to something every one of us has heard about from our constituents, irrespective of party or borough, utility bills that just keep going up. For millions of New Yorkers, electricity and natural gas aren't luxuries, they're necessities. You can postpone buying a new television set. You can't postpone keeping the lights on or refrigerating your food or heating your home in the winter, and yet too many New Yorkers open their utility bill every month and ask the same question: how did it get this high? This resolution doesn't pretend that the City Council controls utility rates. We don't, obviously. That's the responsibility of Albany and the Public Service Commission. But when New Yorkers are struggling, I think it's our responsibility to speak up. And the package of state legislation that this resolution supports would provide better notice before rate hikes, require regulators to consider the impact that utility rates have on families, strengthen consumer protections, improve payment plan standards, and bring greater transparency and accountability to utility regulations. These are not radical ideas at all. They are common sense, nonpartisan reforms rooted in good government. Whether you're a homeowner on Staten Island, a tenant in the Bronx, or a small business owner in Brooklyn, everyone deserves to know what they're paying for, why costs are increasing, and whether someone is truly looking out for the people paying the bills, not just the entities that are sending them. This shouldn't be a Republican or Democratic issue. It's a kitchen table issue. Every dollar a family spends unnecessarily on utility bills is a dollar they can't spend on groceries, rent, prescriptions, or saving for their children's future. Government can't solve every problem overnight, but we can insist on greater transparency. We can demand accountability, and we can stand with the people who work hard, pay their bills, and simply want a fair deal. So I hope my colleagues will join me in supporting this resolution and sending a clear message to Albany. New Yorkers deserve an energy system that's not only reliable, but affordable, transparent, and worthy of the public's trust. Thank you.
Councilmember Riley, followed by Aviles.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today I'm proud to introduce Intro 981, legislation that takes an important first step toward exploring how New York City can expand access to responsible, community-focused financial investments. This bill establishes a task force to study the feasibility of creating a municipal public bank and to develop recommendations for what such an institution could look like here in New York City. Bringing together experts in community banking, small businesses, labor, economic development, and consumer advocacy will ensure this conversation is informed by a broad range of perspectives and grounded in the needs of the communities we serve. The task force will evaluate governance, capitalization, financial management, regulatory compliance, and long-term sustainability before issuing a comprehensive report with recommendations to guide future policymaking. By requiring a transparent, data-driven process, this legislation ensures that any future decisions are based on thoughtful analysis, stakeholder engagement, and sound financial planning. As our city continues to explore new ways to strengthen local economies, support small businesses, and expand access to capital, we have a responsibility to carefully examine every viable option. This legislation does exactly that. It creates a framework for informed decision-making while prioritizing accountability, transparency, and the long-term interests of New Yorkers. I want to thank Councilmember Joseph, Caban, Stevens, Epstein, and Aviles for co-priming this bill, and I look forward to working with the rest of my colleagues and stakeholders as this conversation continues. And with the remaining 20 seconds, I want to give a shout out to Deputy Speaker's intern that she forgot to mention, Samantha. She loves you, okay? Thank you, Majority Leader.
That was sweet, I have to say. Councilmember Aviles, followed by Dinowitz.
First, I want to thank Emmett Turan, our outgoing Progressive Caucus Director, for his incredible work leading the caucus. Emmett is a dedicated and supremely talented public service whose thoughtful leadership has delivered major wins for New York's working class. Thank you, Emmett, for all you have done and will continue to accomplish with Councilmember Hanif's office. I wish to use my remarks to mourn the loss of two people murdered by ICE this month. John Sebastian Guerrero, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo. John was a 26-year-old father working 2 jobs to support his family. On Monday morning, ICE agents killed him on his way to work, just blocks from his home. He built a community for himself and his family in Maine. His neighbors said he was a kind presence on the block, often stopping to compliment a neighbor's garden with his daughter. Those same neighbors heard screams and cries from his wife and child on Monday when ICE agents shot and killed him in front of their eyes. Lorenzo Araujo was also headed to work when immigration agents stopped his vehicle. Lorenzo, a father of 3, owned a construction company, and he was driving his coworkers to a job when ICE officers stopped his vehicle, pulled out their weapons, and shot and killed him. In the days since these murders, ICE officials have admitted that neither Lorenzo or Juan were the target of any investigation. This is yet another horrifying instance of ICE's rogue violence and absolute cruelty of the Trump immigration policy. I stand today to express my utter condemnation of these cold-blooded murders. ICE is a lawless agency that has killed at least 6 people by shooting them to death on our streets since Trump took office. Again, abolish ICE.
Councilmember Dinowitz, followed by Hanif.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today, I'm introducing a resolution calling for reform of the New York City public school governance. Resolution 548 calls on the state legislature to amend our city's education law to grant the City Council representation on the panel for educational policy and to give community education councils more oversight over DOE hiring decisions. The PEP wields immense power in our city. They oversee school closures, co-locations, grade reconfigurations, massive DOE contracts, including those exceeding $1 million. Their actions affect nearly 1 million students and 140,000 DOE staff members. And yet, of the PEP's voting members, none are selected by the City Council. The City Council, which oversees and adopts the budget that funds the DOE, does not have any representation on the PEP. Giving the City Council a seat would help democratize the panel and ensure that our communities are adequately represented in decisions that affect them. Community education councils face a similar imbalance. While CECs help identify candidates for superintendent and submit evaluations, they have no meaningful authority over leadership decisions within their district. The state should amend the system to allow for CECs, a body that directly represents parents within their school district, to have more of a say in decision making. Granting the council a designated seat on the PEP and giving CECs a stronger role in hiring decisions within their districts would add a necessary measure of legislative and community accountability into the largest public school system in the United States. I'd like to thank you again, Majority Leader, for the opportunity to speak on this resolution.
Councilmember Hanif, followed by Hudson, and then Justin Sanchez.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today, I'm proud to introduce Intro 971, legislation that takes an important first step toward understanding and addressing the growing impact of private equity on our neighborhoods. Our small businesses are already struggling with rising rents, higher operating costs, and burdensome regulations. Now, many are also competing against private equity-backed companies that can undercut local businesses, prioritize profits over quality, weaken worker protections, and displace the neighborhood institutions that make our communities unique. Every dollar spent at a local business is an investment in your neighborhood. Despite the rapid growth of private equity ownership, the city has little data on how these acquisitions are reshaping our communities. Intro 971 would require the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection to conduct a one-time study examining the impacts of private equity ownership on workers, consumers, local economies, and small businesses across industries, including healthcare, dental care, veterinary services, childcare, food and hospitality, fitness, and more. Finally, July is Disability Pride Month. As chair of the Committee on Disabilities and Accessibility, I want to celebrate the leadership, joy, and resilience of the disability community and recommit to building a city where accessibility, inclusion, and disabilities justice are never an afterthought. Thank you.
Councilmember Hudson, followed by Sanchez.
Thank you so much. I'd like to be associated with the remarks of Councilmember Aviles, and I'd also like to take a quick moment to shout out my summer interns who have already made an impact in their short time serving the 35th District alongside my team. Skylar Silverman at Cornell University, Yaron Berry, a recent graduate of Toro College, Callie Hayes of my own alma mater, Spelman College, Octavia Rubayo Jenkins at Yeshiva University School of Social Work, Jed Kasoy from Stanford University, Clinton Charter, a recent graduate of Rochester Institute of Technology, and Raylene Brown Alexander at York College. Thank you.
Thank you. I would also like to take a moment to recognize we've been joined by Theo Crombie in the back, who's an intern of mine and also a constituent. Thank you for joining us. Councilmember Justin Sanchez.
First of all, thank you, Madam Speaker, and to all of my colleagues for the early birthday wishes. I look forward to entering my 35th year of life tomorrow. But I want to rewind back to today, 35 years ago, where a scared 18-year-old girl was sitting there, pregnant, not knowing what the future would hold. That girl was my mom, Ruth Sanchez. And I want to thank her for everything that she went through, all of the struggles, all of the fights to be able to make sure that her little boy and all of her kids got the opportunity to live out their wildest dreams. And 35 years later, I get to enter my 35th birthday as the council member representing the South Bronx. Having said that, this message goes out to all of the little black and brown girls and boys all over this city. This is your city. At every time the world might seem hard, it might seem unfair, it is. There are people who are rooting for you at every single step of the way. And I'm proud to be here, and I'm so excited to see all the work that we can do together, because at the end of the day, this city belongs to us, and no matter what, the amount of no's that you will get every left and right, at the end of the day, we're New Yorkers. Nothing stops us, and the only thing getting in your way is you. So thank you, Mom, thank you to this city, and thank you, everyone.
I'll now call on Speaker Julie Menon to close today's stated meeting.
Okay, the stated meeting of July 16th, 2026 is hereby adjourned.